Imagine waking up to the deafening roar of an explosion in your quiet suburban neighborhood, only to discover that the house next door has been reduced to smoldering ruins, and inside, a family has been brutally annihilated. This isn't the plot of a horror movie. It's the real-life nightmare that unfolded in Scottsdale, Arizona on April 10th, 2001. Welcome to Trending Docket. I'm your host, Michelle, and today we're unraveling the chilling case of Robert William Fisher, the family annihilator who's evaded the FBI's most wanted list for 24 years. His story shatters the illusion of suburban safety and leaves us questioning how well we really know the people closest to us. To understand the depth of this tragedy, we first need to meet the Fishers, not as victims of a headline, but as real people with dreams, struggles, and love. Mary Fisher was just 38 years old, a devoted mother with a warm smile and a heart full of optimism, despite the cracks forming in her marriage. She worked as a hairdresser in Scottsdale, often sharing laughs with clients about her kids' latest antics. Her daughter, Brittany, was 12, a bright, artistic girl who loved drawing and dreaming of becoming a veterinarian. At 5 feet tall, with long brown hair and sparkling blue eyes, Brittany was the light of family barbecues in their cozy backyard on 2074 North 44th Place. And then there was 10-year-old Robert Jr., or Bobby to those who knew him. An energetic boy with his father's athletic build, short, sandy hair, and a passion for baseball. He was the kind of kid who'd chase fireflies until dusk, oblivious to the storm brewing at home. Robert William Fisher himself seemed like the epitome of suburban stability. Born on April 13, 1961 in California, he stood 6 feet tall, about 190 pounds, with piercing blue eyes, a square jaw, and neatly trimmed brown hair. Fisher served in the United States Navy and later worked as a firefighter. By 2001, at age 39, he worked as a respiratory therapist at a Scottsdale hospital, helping patients breathe easier while his own home life suffocated under pressure. An avid outdoorsman, Fisher was known for weekend hunting trips in the Arizona wilderness, teaching his kids to fish and camp. Neighbors described barbecues where he'd grill steaks with a grin, but those close to the family whispered of darker undercurrents, financial woes from bad investments, rumors of Fisher's infidelity, and his controlling temper that could erupt over small things like dirty dishes. According to family friends interviewed in early reports, Mary had confided, quote, "He's changed. It's like living with a ticking bomb," end quote. Their home at 2074 North 44th Place was a split-level ranch-style house in the idyllic Sparks neighborhood. Trees swaying, kids biking, yet it hid a marriage on the brink. By early 2001, divorce papers were rumored to be in discussion, amplifying the tension. This was a family teetering, not unlike so many, until one night it all came to a terrifying end. Let's walk through that fateful night and piece together the timeline from police reports and autopsies. It was the evening of April 9th, 2001. The Fishers had attended a church service earlier, appearing normal. Around 10 p.m., neighbors heard an argument ensuing within the Fisher home. Prosecutors believe Fisher, fueled by rage or despair, entered the master bedroom where Mary slept. He slit her throat with a knife, the wound so deep it severed her windpipe. She was also shot in the back of the head. Then he moved to the children's rooms. 12-year-old Brittany, peaceful in her pink pajamas, and 10-year-old Bobby, clutching a stuffed animal. Their throats were slashed in their sleep. Brutal. Autopsies later confirmed they had died between 10 p.m. and midnight, hours before the horror was revealed. But Fisher wasn't done. In a calculated move straight out of a survivalist's playbook, he dragged their bodies, Mary's 140-pound frame, the lighter children's, to stack them in the master bedroom. Mary at the bottom, Brittany and Bobby atop her, as if staging a murder-suicide to destroy evidence. He ruptured the natural gas line that was ignited by a candle that he had lit to delay the explosion, turning the house into a bomb. Fisher slipped away in the night after going to the ATM to pull out money around 10:42 p.m., driving his wife's Toyota 4Runner. At 8:42 a.m. on April 10th, the explosion rocked the neighborhood, a thunderous boom that shattered windows 2 blocks away. Black smoke billowed from the rubble as firefighters from Scottsdale Fire Station 52 rushed in, hoses blasting. Inside the charred remains, they found the bodies amid melted furniture and collapsed ceilings. The blast was no accident. Arson investigators confirmed the gas manipulation within hours. Fisher's wife's 4Runner was discovered abandoned 90 miles north near Tonto National Park. A backpack inside containing his wallet, cell phone, the hat he was wearing in the ATM footage, and a loaded .22 caliber rifle. Items screaming intentional flight into the wilderness he knew intimately from decades of hunting. Left behind was also the family dog Blue, abandoned near the 4Runner. Neighbors like 52-year-old retiree Linda Adams recalled the chaos. Quote, "It was like a war zone. We smelled gas before the boom, but thought it was a leak. Never dreamed this." End quote. This wasn't impulse. It was annihilation planned to the last detail. The manhunt for Robert Fisher quickly became one of Arizona's largest, a relentless pursuit blending old-school detective work with cutting-edge forensics. Scottsdale police arrived at dawn on April 10, 2001, treating it as a triple homicide from the start. Bloody boot prints matching Fisher's size 11 Merrill boots led from the bedrooms to the gas line. Irrefutable evidence. Neighbors reported prior domestic violence, a 1997 call where Fisher allegedly choked Mary during an argument. His computer, recovered from the blast, showed searches on home explosions and gas line ruptures. History hastily erased, but forensic tech recovered fragments. By April 12th, Fisher was named as the prime suspect, his photo plastered nationwide. Scottsdale Police Detective John Kirkness, who led the initial scene processing, described it vividly in a 2002 interview. Quote, "The house was a forensic nightmare. Bodies stacked like cordwood, gas valves sheared clean, pilot lights left on. This was no suicide. It was engineered escape." End quote. Fisher's brother, Robert George Fisher, cooperated fully, telling authorities in Springfield, Missouri, quote, "Rob would never hurt them. If he's alive, he'll turn himself in, but we haven't heard from him." End quote. Though skeptics note the family's shock masked deeper knowledge. In June 2002, after exhaustive local probes, the FBI added Fisher to its 10 most wanted list, the 468th entry, making him the second longest tenured fugitive then, with a $100,000 reward. FBI Special Agent John Kirk, overseeing the Southwest Violent Crimes Fugitive Task Force, has warned publicly, quote, "Fisher's survivalist skills, hunting, camping, off-grid living, make him deadly adaptable. He could have plastic surgery, a beard, anything," end quote. Searches scoured Prescott National Forest, where tips placed him in 2003, Vancouver Island after 2010 sightings, even Mexico's Sierra Madres. Genetic genealogy and AI facial recognition, breakthroughs since 2018, have chased ghosts. Over 500 fugitives captured from the list since 1950. But Fisher persists, at age 62, as of his last birthday on April 13, 2023. Kathleen Deedy, in her book Profiling the Case, notes his computer savvy. Quote, "He researched blasts online days before, cunning enough to vanish forever," end quote. Financial stress, infidelity, rage. It's a cautionary tale of unchecked darkness. Yet, with cold case solvency at 60% nationally, hope lingers. While Fisher is no longer on the FBI 10 most wanted list, he still remains as a wanted fugitive. The Fisher case still haunts Scottsdale's Sparks neighborhood, where a modest memorial garden blooms at 2074 North 44th Place, a reminder of stolen innocence and endless grief. Mary's laugh silenced, Brittany's drawings unfinished, Bobby's baseball dreams gone. For the community, it's a scar on suburbia's soul. For parents everywhere, a primal fear that evil can hide behind any front door. Robert Fisher's evasion bucks trends, but justice waits. If you have tips, sightings in the Southwest, Canada, Mexico, anywhere, contact the FBI anonymously at 1-800-CALL-FBI or tips.fbi.gov. Your call could end this nightmare and bring closure. The reward stands at $100,000 for information leading to his arrest. Visit the FBI's wanted page for his latest description and age-progressed images. Together, we can turn trending docket into trending justice. Thank you for joining me on Trending Docket, your companion in these gripping, untold stories. Share this episode, subscribe for more deep dives, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Let's keep the pressure on until he's caught.